Everybody, it's Adam. Wonder who he'll interview. He'll get the dirt and the scoop and the story, for he happens to be in the know. Just ask anybody who's Adam. Adam lives for the business of show. Call me Adam.com.
Hey guys, it's Call Me Adam, and we are here live in Weehawken, New Jersey, across the pond from New York City, with Dream Interpreter Jefferson Harman, who has been interpreting dreams for over 25 years. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So, we need to start off with figuring out, how did you get your start in interpreting dreams, and when did you know that you had this, I'm going to call it a gift.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're not the first person to call it that. I actually had a dream when I was 3 years old that was very profound. It was a nightmare. It was very intense. And it stayed with me because the visuals were so intense. So I started to really pay attention to my dreams because of that first initial kick from that first dream. And what I realized over time was that there was a story going on. If there was a story, there had to be a writer. If there was a movie, there had to be a director. And so I realized that what was happening was a conversation. And so over time, I engaged that conversation and I said, well, if this is supposed to have meaning to me, what is it? And then I get an answer. And then what I would find is that the dreams began to mirror what was going on in my life in one way or another, so that they really began to make sense to me. What they were detailing was a metaphor for what I was experiencing during the day, or what I wanted to experience that I wasn't experiencing. And so it became kind of an ongoing communication with the universe. And as I became older and matured as a person, the language of it matured. I was able to really articulate it better. And then I started interpreting my friends' dreams when they found out that I did my own. And then from there, word of mouth, and I started interpreting their friends' dreams and total strangers. And now, that's come full circle, and I do it on the radio where a person will call in, and I interpret their dreams on the air, having never met them, not even knowing whether or not they're giving me their real name. And it's a really interesting experience.
In interpreting people's dreams, is there a common theme, or are there several common themes that people call in or in your private readings ask you to interpret?
Yeah, I mean, there's some universal themes, absolutely. Flying is one of them, falling is one of them, being surrounded by water. There are certain things that are common to our physical experience, and we tend to take our stresses or the way that we're processing our day, and we create this metaphor for how can we examine this from a safe perspective. But, part of that is bringing your conscious awareness into the dream and being able to change the negative aspect of it into a positive.
What have you learned about yourself through interpreting other people's dreams?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. I've learned to increase the speed of what I do, absolutely, yeah. Over time, just doing this so much, that I really am at a point now where it's very laser focused, and it doesn't take me a long time to figure out what's going on. There's times when I'm doing it live that I don't say everything that I'm getting, because some of it's personal information that person may not want to have in a live format, but in a private reading or in a workshop, we really get down and dirty. I mean, there's because it comes in very quickly, and I'm able to really bring in what that person is trying to say. That they're saying, but they just don't realize they're saying it. What the metaphor that I use is that when we're having a conversation, we're eye to eye, we're looking at each other, we're engaged. But what's going on outside of that? What's in the periphery? What are we not seeing that's happening simultaneously to this conversation? What are the conversations over in this area? That's what I see when people bring something to me to be interpreted. I see what's going on in the periphery that they're missing, and then I mirror it back to them. So I've learned to do that for myself, I think, on a better level. I think for my own, which was your original question, I think that it's certainly helped me as a person in terms of growth, because I can look at what I don't want to look at and say, well, if you can teach them to do it, why aren't you doing it yourself? So it's easier to kind of keep myself in check about that.
If you could interpret the dream of any celebrity, who would you want to interpret?
Wow. Well, unfortunately, she's passed, but it would be Karen Carpenter. Yeah.
Oh, that would be great.
She's my muse. Yeah.
What is it about her that makes her your muse?
Oh, wow. From a very young age, I listened to her records and studied her voice, and I learned how to arrange musically by listening to their songs. I learned how to play piano by listening to Richard's piano parts, and I didn't read music well, but I played by ear, and I would actually sit down and I would learn his piano parts by just sitting and listening to them and just figuring out, okay, this note goes there, that chord goes there, and then I would pick the arrangements apart. Or the oboe's playing this line and the flute is playing that line, and I knew every aspect of their songs. It just really enriched who I was musically, because I'm also a singer-songwriter, and it was something that for a lot of years that was a huge influence on me, and it also was very, very devastating to me when she passed.
And if you could give people one reason why they should come to you to have their dream interpreted by you as opposed to somebody else, what makes you different from everybody else in dream interpretation?
I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell me that you don't necessarily want to answer one or the other of those questions. That's fine. But for me personally, this is such a joy, and I want people to know that joy. The only way they're going to find that is if they have the conversation. If they don't know how to have the conversation with their dreams, I know I can teach that to them. And it's something that it's a pleasure to do.
Thanks for watching. For more Call Me Adam, visit callmeadam.com or follow me on Twitter at callmeadamnyc or facebook.com/callmeadamnyc.